Good morning, everyone. My name is Sterling Higa, Chairperson of the Authority. I'd now like to call to order the November 5th, 2025 Kakaako Authority meeting of the Hawaii Community Development Authority. The time is now 10 a.m.
Thank you, Chair. In accordance with section 92-3.7 for revised statutes, the Hawaii Community Development Authority is holding today's Kakaako board meeting virtually on Zoom. The Zoom link details were included in the meeting agenda. Therefore, members of the public are welcome to join us on Zoom and also at our physical meeting site at the American Brewery Building, 547 Queen Street, second floor boardroom, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96813. The HCDA communications staff is hosting today's meeting. Once this meeting begins, everyone will be muted for clearer audio. Board members, if you have any comments or questions, please unmute yourselves to speak. It is important that all individuals clearly state their name, pseudonym, or other identifier name each time prior to speaking. If you wish to provide oral testimony and you are attending virtually, please indicate so by clicking the raise hand button found on your Zoom screen. If you are attending in person, you'll be called to the front of the room in the order that you have signed up. Before you begin your testimony, we ask that you identify yourself and spell your name for the record. Your testimony must be related to an item on the agenda. All testimony will be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. When time is elapsed, time will be called out, after which you have 30 seconds to conclude your testimony, and then your audio will be turned off. If you are attending in person, the presiding officer will call the next testifier. Keep in mind that this is an opportunity to share your thoughts with us. If you ask questions during your testimony, neither the board nor the staff is required to provide an answer. If the authority's connection for the remote meeting is lost, the meeting will be recessed until the connection is restored. If the connection cannot be restored within 30 minutes, the meeting will be terminated and the authority will convene the meeting at another notice date. Thank you. Chair.
Thank you. HCDA board members, please remain visible and audible during the meeting. Also, please acknowledge you are present by either saying here or present. Let the record reflect that the following members are present. Vice Chair Ishii is excused. Secretary Lidstone.
Ew.
Thank you. Member Miranda Johnson.
Yeah.
Thank you. Member Anderson.
Yeah.
Thank you. Member Evans.
Here.
Thank you. Member Straits.
Here.
Thank you. Member China.
Here.
Thank you. And Member Sakota.
We have quorum, Chair.
Here.
Thank you. Individuals. Sorry. For today's meeting, board members will have the opportunity to ask questions or provide comments after an agenda item has been presented. Individuals from the public who have requested to provide verbal public testimony on a specific agenda item are on standby and will be permitted to provide their testimony respectively. Moving to agenda item number 2, approval of minutes. These are the regular meeting minutes of September 3rd, 2025. Board members, are there any comments or corrections to these minutes? Seeing none, the minutes are approved as presented. Agenda item number 3 is decision making. To consider authorizing the executive director to 1, solicit a statement of qualifications, SOQ, from developers for the development of a kupuna supportive affordable rental housing project on land owned by the Hawaii Community Development Authority, HCDA, at 586 South Street, and further identified as tax map key TMK 2-1-030012 in the Kakaako Community Development District, KCDD. 2, select a developer and enter into a development agreement and a ground lease with the selected developer for development of the project. And 3, expend $34,950,000 for development of the project from fiscal year 2025-2026, fiscal year 2026-2027 CIP appropriation, subject to release of the funds by the governor. Mr. Deepak Nupane, Program Specialist, will now present the staff report.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, board members. The staff report is in your packet under tab 3. I'll just summarize it. It was probably a year ago that the authority has authorized purchase of the parcel, the South Street parcel. Funding was provided. There was CIP funding, I believe, or maybe general funds provided by the legislature for purchase of that parcel with the intention of the land being used for affordable housing, senior housing, and in particular supportive housing. So this fiscal year and the coming fiscal year, next fiscal year, the legislature has appropriated almost $35 million for design and construction of the project. So, we are looking at putting out a statement of qualifications like we normally do for development projects like this. Select a developer and then develop the project with them, with the consultation with this. This is a little bit unique in the sense that this is supportive housing. We haven't done supportive housing before. We have done affordable rentals, elderly rentals, or senior rentals and all. This is a little bit more because it comes with, the idea is to have affordable senior rental projects with supportive housing for the support system for the tenants. So it provides, maybe some kind of, we're thinking of having federally qualified health center within the building, having an entity that can provide home and community-based services and all that spectrum. We have even talked to people who are managing assisted living. And, that's the other spectrum of that. We had a lot of discussion with state Medicaid folks and all, and also with a lot of stakeholders. There are experts who sort of run this kind of facilities in town. So the idea is to, again, engage a developer, and that's why the RFQ calls for the development to include someone with an experience and, federally assisted,
Federally qualified health
yes,
center.
federally qualified health center, and then, entities that can provide home and community-based services and all, so. And also focused on the design. I mean, I think we put in language there for a trauma-informed design, that's, design for, it's a design philosophy and physical design of the building. That certain elements are included in the design, so it becomes easier for elderly folks to navigate, for folks with, some people having memory issues and all. So the design is done in a certain way that navigation of the building itself becomes easier, and also the quality of design, the quality of light, the greenery and all of that. So they emphasize all of that. And the project size itself, I think we are looking at maybe up to 50 units. It's a small site. It's almost 12,000 square feet. It's right along the transit line. There is a transit easement on Halikavila Street, so the building has to be pulled back 15 feet from the property. So it's a fairly tight site. So, and the expectation is that this becomes a pilot project, and if this model works, then there's opportunity to repeat this model within Kakaako or even outside Kakaako, and maybe even to scale up a little bit. With that, this completes my staff report. If members have any question, I can address those.
Chair, if I can add,
Please.
add to Deepak's staff report. So it is a smaller lot, as Deepak mentioned, but the notion is that, if this is successful here, we can replicate this in smaller lots and communities, other communities. The vision is that these kind of community-based supportive housing projects would serve as a way for seniors to sort of age in their communities. So I think Deepak mentioned we have a few affordable senior rental projects. So it would be a way for a pathway for seniors who perhaps need a little bit more assistance in their independent living, but not enough for assisted living or nursing care or care homes. Could have is a pathway to get a little bit more help and assistance in their daily living through the FQHC, through the other providers. That is hoped that along with what Deepak mentioned as a trauma-informed design element will keep seniors hopefully independent longer, will maybe stave off onset of Alzheimer's and dementia with that kind of living environment. And so that's the sort of the vision that we have for this project. And Deepak mentioned it's not a model that has been, done. This is unique, and we're hoping this is going to be successful.
Yeah, the affordable
Part of it.
rental level, this hasn't been done. I mean, I think I just read in the paper, yesterday's paper, that the IA project by EAH had some element of that, but not all the services that they have. I think Lania Care, a company that provides meal and wheels and things like that and all, but this is a little bit more skilled up, so. And I think it becomes critical to, when once we get the developer and the team, then we can really develop, talk through on the model of it, and we're talking to different people, understanding it. HCDA hasn't done this before, I haven't done this kind of project before, so I'm learning myself on especially on the medical side of it, and then the support, the other home and community-based system. It seems like there is, Medicaid does have an element where it provides that. Medicaid could even provide rental assistance, and there's a new, I think, program under Medicaid called, what is it, medical respite?
Yeah, respite.
Respite, yeah, the project may qualify for something like that, And I think it's workable, this project, because the physical structure, we already have funding for the physical structure, so there is going to be no debt service for the developer when the building is built. So whatever revenue comes from the building is going to be used for maintenance and then reserved for the building, and also we probably won't have a situation like next door.
Yeah, and that point, the vision is that, with the HCD's contribution of land, with with the CIP money, the contribution for the plan design and construction. Once that occurs, there's a ground lease, development agreement. HCD's role in this in the future, will be,
Just a landowner
Yeah,
and
just a
that's
landowner.
for.
So there's not gonna be, the intent is for us not to have any continuing, operating and maintenance responsibilities. So thank you, Chair.
We're not gonna be a member of the AOAO.
No, thank you, Chair.
Members, any comments or questions? Member Sakota?
Good morning.
Morning.
I realize this project is kind of unique in its scope and scale, but just for my guide, I forget how much we actually paid for that land, but for 50 units, I mean, generally, do you have sort of a idea in your mind as to the cost per unit?
Yeah, so member Sakota, we paid around 3.5 million for the property.
Okay.
On the scale of the project, we're, some of it is intentional. Intentional because we wanted to find a parcel that's one available was vacant. We also wanted to find a parcel that you could find in almost any community of size in any community. We're also limited by the zoning in that area, our zoning, so we're limited to, I think, 65 feet there. So the number of units, when you consider the common area space, as Deepak mentioned, there's gonna be certain features, design elements that go with the trauma informed design. So it is gonna be limited. It's probably gonna be a little challenging with that limited size, but we still think the project will be feasible. And what will inform on that is the response we get from developers and their team.
And funding wise, I think we have adequate
Yeah.
funding. I had estimated about $700,000 per unit on development cost, excluding land for the project.
Okay, that's just what I wanted to have in mind, just as a reference point in the future when we talk about assisted or affordable housing. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Member Sakota. Members, any other comments or questions for Deepak or staff? Seeing none, we'll move now to public testimony. Do we have any persons pre-signed up for testimony? Do we have any persons present or online who wish to provide testimony? One online? Okay, Lena, I think they're unmuting you now for your testimony, so we'll accept testimony. Public testimony will be limited to 3 minutes each. And when you are called, please clearly state your name, organization, pseudonym, before your testimony. Is Lena?
Hi, yes,
Lane.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Lena.
Hi, thank you for having me. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, HCDA, for your work on this project. I'm so grateful that you guys are moving in this direction with looking at low-income, affordable housing with wraparound services. I just did want to provide some additional information for consideration. Medicaid, through their medical respite program, though it can provide short-term payment, it is not a housing voucher. It must be connected to service. It's based on a medical determination made by a physician provider, and it's a very short-term period. So it provides coverage for a few days, with an average of 2 weeks, and that program will be coming live in January. There is an additional level of care that I know you guys have discussed about not wanting to consider, assisted living. It might be something to consider. It is very low on the regulatory requirements, and that is the Medicaid funding source that does provide housing support. And that is going to be the only funding source from Medicaid that is able to provide long-term funding source. That would need to be worked out with Medicaid. They are willing to look at considering reprioritization to make that live. The rate study has been complete, and there are agencies willing to provide services for such. So I think it's great that you guys are heading in this direction, and I hope you guys don't discount assisted living because it is a community-based model and provides those additional services that you require. My concern with the FQHC on the bottom, which I think is a great idea, is oftentimes what we see with the need for assisted living or the need for supportive service, it's often support with your ADLs or needing toileting, bathing, showering, and items like that. And that is included within assisted living. And it's very easy to get through the regulatory process and provide those very low-level services on a day-to-day basis. But thank you for allowing me to testify.
Thank you, Lena.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else registered? Board members, any comments or questions? Lena, are you still there? Can I ask Lena a question?
I'm still here. Hi.
Yeah, Lena, it sounds like you know a lot about this. Are you affiliated with any organizations, and do you think maybe you could also submit your testimony in writing as well so that staff, if they need to, are able to contact you?
Sure. I can surely do that. And just for background, I'm the CEO at One Kalakaua Senior Living, and have been in the healthcare industry from Queens to IHS, and worked with a variety of post-acute care partners. I am currently in talks with Medicaid, and am interested in supporting this project.
Great. Thank you, Lena.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay. Members or anyone else signed up to testify? Okay, anyone wishing to testify online? Seeing none, members, any questions or comments? Otherwise, is there a motion for the board to authorize the executive director to, one, solicit a statement of qualifications from developers for the development of a kupuna supportive affordable rental housing project on land owned by the Hawaii Community Development Authority, HCDA, at 586 South Street and further identified as tax map key TMK 2-1-030012 in the Kakaako Community Development District, KCDD. 2, select a developer and enter into a development agreement and a ground lease with the selected developer for development of the project. 3, expend $34,950,000 for development of the project from fiscal year 25-26, fiscal year 26-27 CIP appropriation, subject to release of funds by the governor. And 4, take all actions necessary to effectuate the purposes of this 4 action. Do I hear such a motion, members?
So moved.
Moved by member Evans. Do I hear a second?
Second, Kevin Sakota.
Seconded by member Sakota. Motion has been made by member Evans and seconded by member Sakota. Members, is there any further discussion on the motion? If not, I will ask Deepak to take the roll call vote.
Chair, the motion been made and seconded on the motion. Member Evans,
Aye.
member Sakota,
Yes.
member Livingston,
Aye.
member Johnson,
Yes.
member Anderson,
Yes.
Chair Higa.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Member Streitson.
Sorry.
Yes.
Member Chino.
Member Chino.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Passes with 8 yes and 1 excuse.
Great, thank you, and thank you, Deepak. Move now to agenda item number 4 for information and discussion. This is an update by HCDA staff on performance metrics for the Honuakaha Senior Rental Housing Project located at 545 Queen Street, Honolulu, Hawaii 96813, and further described by Oahu Tax Map Key Number 2-1-031021. Mr. Garrett Sasaki, Chief Financial Officer, will now present the staff report.
Morning, Chair, members. The staff reports in tab 3 of your packet. It is the quarterly update for the period of July through September of 2025. Just going through the report, the metrics. So that's the income expense for the quarter compared to budget. It is low again. We did check with the property manager. They explained that they're posting adjustments as they're identifying them in that month. So that's why the income is low. They're writing off delinquent accounts, they're cleaning up receivables. And that's what it reflects. That's not correct for accounting standards, but this is just an interim adjustment. At the end of the year, they'll accumulate them and record it correctly. But overall, income is low because of the vacancies. So that's, I think, the main takeaway. The expenses are about on budget, is what we expected. Receivables went down a little from the last update, but it is a reflection of that cleanup of the records, not necessarily a collection of amounts due. So the breakdown is about 15 tenants are delinquent in paying rent, and about 9 have some kind of issue with the subsidy, Section 8, and we're working to resolve those. Occupancy, 25 vacant units. This report doesn't show the move-outs, move-ins, but there was about 3 move-outs, 2 move-ins, so we get to the 25. On the other objectives, we did get through the audit, so we completed that September 2025, the month after tax return was completed. So that's the update. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to questions from members. Member Evans.
Garrett, is the government shutdown affecting the Section 8 voucher approvals or resolution of problems?
I'm not sure, but the 9 that we identified are not just a 1-month delay in Section 8 payments. These are, 3, 4, 5 months back. So something happened with that tenant. Either they lost eligibility or, something happened. So we're investigating those.
I see. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any other comments or questions? I just have an observation, Garrett. I know there's nothing you at this moment can do about it. If I divide the total income of 367,736 by the number of leased units, so I'm just assuming, right? By 125 or 126 rather. And I then multiply that out by 151, which assumes sort of the revenue if every unit were leased and paid at the amount that we're receiving. I only get to 440,000 in income, which is less than our expenses. And so I just want to observe more for MDI that their explanation of the shortfall does not make sense. Because even if leased up fully at the current rate of collections from tenants, we are short of the budgeted income. Not only are we short of the budgeted income by nearly $100,000, but we are short of the actual expenses of $450,000. And so I would appreciate at the next meeting an update from MDI staff explaining what is happening. Because it's very difficult based on the information that they are providing to us to understand what is taking place here. I am not a math major, but even my basic math tells me something is wrong.
Mhm.
More an observation and not a question for you, Garrett.
Okay, we'll bring them to the next meeting.
Yes, thank you. Members, any other comments or questions? Okay, do we have public testimony on this item? Any persons pre-signed up, any present or online who wish to provide testimony? Seeing none, we will close public testimony. Members, any other questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, we'll move to agenda item number 4. This is the report of the executive director, monthly report and other status reports, including approved permit applications that did not require HRS 206E-5.6 public hearings. Executive Director Nakamoto will now provide his monthly report.
Thank you, Chair. The Executive Director report is contained in tab 4. A couple of things to note. Ulana Ward Village had a blessing ceremony on November 4th, and occupancy residents will be moving into the building very soon. The Kolowalo Dog Park, thanks to Lindsay and her asset management staff, the small dog park, the sod was replaced, pavers were installed in, high traffic areas. As you might remember, there was an unauthorized dumping of mulch that's not safe for dogs in the small dog park, so that was removed. And then new mulch was laid down in the planter areas. We're also looking to, if we haven't done it already, to kind of thin out some of the canopy of trees to allow, more sunlight in and allow the grass to grow. People are asking about the opening of the small dog park. So at least at this time, we're targeting December 1st, barring any other things that happen, but December 1st, and then reopening, and then doing probably some periodic maintenance on a large dog park. Just related to the dog park in general, since we're on the topic. So we've gotten some requests to revise the closing hours of the dog parks. It's currently open during the same hours as the park, which is 6 to 10. So we've gotten a request from nearby owners to reduce the time, to adjust the closing time to 8 o'clock. So it's just for the board's information. We're gonna consider that request and decide if we're gonna make that change. But that's it for the report, Chair.
Thank you, Director
Thank you.
Nakamoto. Members, any comments or questions for the Executive Director? Member Sakota.
Aye. How has the closing for Ulana gone? I know we talked about it before in terms of issues with higher rates and et cetera, but is all that gone pretty smoothly?
It has, Member Sakota, we did talk about, the effects of the economy, the higher interest rates, other uneasiness in the market with the close of the units. We have been meeting with Howard Hughes regularly. It seems like in recent months, they've been moving along with the closing, so I think it's going smoothly. I think we're scheduled to do maybe another follow-up meeting with Howard Hughes on the status. I think, maybe in December sometime. Yeah, this week, sorry. Yep.
Great, thank you.
Lindsay's gonna give a little bit more update on that, member support.
Okay,
Members, so actually, I just talked to the Howard Hughes team this week. We're gonna have another check-in on Friday, but the bulk closings, they're on track. They're right now, today actually is the pickup for the first group of buyers, their keys. So they're gonna get the keys today, maybe right now, in fact. And then it's kind of going for the next couple of weeks through mid-December. So it is moving, people are gonna be moving in. And there's a few that are still being processed, there's still some applications coming in that we're reviewing as they come. For some of those units that are still being contracted, but for the most part, it's rolling, yeah.
thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you, member support.
Members, any other comments or questions? Seeing none, public testimony? No persons
None.
re-signed up, no persons online. Thank you, board members, for your attendance. We will adjourn this meeting at 10:32 a.m. and reconvene at 11 a.m. for the Kakaako rules meeting. So time is now 10:32. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.